Okay, today we're going to be talking about what I think is one of the easiest ways to start expanding your reach, especially for anyone who is kind of newer to the business and anyone who's been in the business for a while. This will actually probably be easier for you. And what I think we should be focusing on right now is finding buyers who are going to be buying this one, right? We have to kind of lay a groundwork now in order to create more opportunities for yourself down the road. And right now there's a lot of reasons that I think people are going to be focusing on buying, and we'll kind of talk about that. Again, kind of a lot of the gist of this is talking to people who are currently renting apartments, especially those who are renting in luxury high-rise buildings, expensive apartments and things like that, and showing them why it makes sense for them to potentially buy. So again, we're going to kind of continue on this through me leaving. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself, right? This is all on you, right? I can give you, I'm telling you exactly what you should do, right? All you have to do is do it. And it's much, much easier. It's much, much more affordable than you might think to kind of put these together and to do it. So again, don't ask for things to get better. You get better, right? These are all ideas that we have that I think will make a big impact for all of you. So why should you do a first-time home buyer seminar? Again, especially one targeting rental customers, right? People who are currently renting. So the first reason is that rents are at an all-time high across all boroughs of New York, right? Ridgewood, Queens actually had the highest year-over-year increase of any neighborhood in Manhattan. Again, part of that is because it was artificially low. Part of that is that we've gotten a lot of spillover from Brooklyn. But again, across the city, rents are high, right? Inflation, property taxes going up, all these things are driving the prices up. In addition to that, the fact that people perceive, right? And I'm going to say perceive because interest rates for a lot of people are actually not that high, right? People perceive that they're high because they're used to what they saw, a year and a half ago around 3 or 4%, right? Right now they're about 7%. Even though that's the case, a lot of people could still save money by purchasing a home, right? Renters probably also want to get out of the cycle of rent and repeat. I've had stories from friends of mine and friends of Juan's where people's rents have increased by 25 to 30% year over year, right? And that makes them make a decision, right? Either stay and pay a lot of money in rent or try to find something. And again, one of our friends tried to find something and everything was way worse than what they were paying. So in the end, they stayed with a crazy increase. But it really got them thinking about buying, right? And this is happening, especially in larger buildings, right? Because most of these management companies have certain numbers that they need to make. They really don't care if an apartment's empty, right? They'd rather get a higher rent and keep it vacant, right? It doesn't make any economic sense to most of us, but that happens with a lot of landlords, right? Especially larger landlords, right? The bigger management companies. Again, we can see this across what they're charging in rent. A lot of the renters want to eventually get out of this cycle of rent and repeat, right? Again, every year they're paying more money. Every year they are having to think about what's going on, right? Every 12 months, most leases in the city come up, right? And so every 6 to 9 months, everyone's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And they start panicking, right? That's part of the reason our market is so amazing because people have to move all the time, right? Be it someone sold the building, the rent went up crazy amounts, again, all the D's, death, divorce, dumpsters, renovations, whatever it is. So that's why this is a really, really captive audience of people to target towards. And many renters didn't have a broker, right? Rental, and there's two reasons for that. Number one, rental brokers tend to be, or people who just do rentals, and again, not us, but I'd say other brokers, tend to oftentimes focus on the deal and the next deal and the next deal, right? Yes, that's important for your wallet, but you're missing out on repeat customers, right? Many times, and again, I've had this in rental buildings that I work in, right? They came with a broker, and when they were looking to buy something or rent something larger, they came to me instead, right? Part of that's maybe because they like me, and other part of that is probably because their broker didn't follow up with them like we do with all of our customers and clients, right? Again, it's important to touch on every single person you've rented or sold to at least once a quarter, right? And when I was kind of just an agent, I try to see every one of my past customers at least twice a year in person, right? I take them out for coffee. I'd invite them to the Whitney. We'd have, a customer appreciation party, whatever that is. But most people don't do that. The other side of it is that, again, most people, again, especially those paying higher numbers, right? $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for one bedroom, right? They're like, I don't want to pay a broker fee. And they go to a no fee building, right? They go to a Glenwood, a Rock Rose, a TF Cornerstone, buy management listings, all these different things, right? Or maybe they rented during COVID. And again, they rented from a broker, but they had no relationship with the broker. They just went because it was a no fee building, right? So because of that, many of them don't have any loyalty to a broker to work with in the future. So what is our solution to this, right? Our solution is to start to host first-time homebuyer seminars, right? And there's really only 3 steps involved in this, and some of them take longer than others, right? Steps 1 and 2 are actually pretty quick. Step 3 is the one where you should spend most of your time, right? So the first thing that you need to do is find a place where you can host an event, right? And again, my suggestion is always make it a hybrid event so you can invite as many people as possible, and even if they can't come, they'll potentially watch it, right? So you do it in person and you record what you're doing. So my suggestion is to pick a neighborhood and to go to that neighborhood, right? So many people live in or have friends that live in buildings with a community room, right? It can be rented, usually for $100, $200 or something like that for some set period of time, right? So if you don't have one in your building, totally fine, right? Ask a friend who has one. Most of them will be happy to do this as a favor to you. There are also libraries that have rooms that you can rent out, and they're usually very inexpensive. There are conference centers which get a little more expensive. If you need to, you can do it here in the Weichert office, right? No problem there whatsoever, right? Again, especially if you're doing it for, let's say, Chelsea, for the Village, kind of anywhere downtown, this is a great place. But my suggestion is, again, if you're doing it on the Upper East Side, don't host it here in the office, right? Host it on the Upper East Side because you want to go to where the people are. Attorney, if you have an attorney you work with, you can try to go to their office. Again, many of them have nice offices. A restaurant, sorry if I had an S there, or a coffee shop, right? Again, many of these places will co-market with you and co-brand with you, right? Especially if you know someone, right? If you work at a restaurant and can do something when the restaurant's closed, again, if they're not open in the morning, then maybe you do it when the restaurant's closed, right? And you can have drinks or something like that. So again, my suggestion of timing is to do it when people are available, right? After work or on a weekend, after work. Again, for me, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, but Tuesday and Wednesday are the best evenings. Saturday brunch time, kind of earlier in the day, is a great time, right? Do a brunch and learn, right? That's a great way to do it. And plan it at least 6 weeks in advance, right? You don't want to say, okay, I'm gonna do it next week, because you really need time to do the marketing, which we'll talk about. So figure out where you're gonna do this, right? That's the biggest hurdle usually, finding a place at a time that fits within your constraints. So the next thing to do is to assemble a team, right? Again, find another agent, right? I always say we work best in teams, and pairing off with at least one other person will help you divide and conquer and kind of get through this better. You can share on the marketing responsibilities, you can share on the costs associated with it. Again, if you're a rental agent, find someone who's experienced in sales, right? Just because you're just a rental agent doesn't mean you can't learn this process very quickly. Again, if you work in a certain neighborhood, or if you want to target a certain neighborhood, find someone else who works there, right? We have experienced agents all across the board. So again, it's you and probably one other agent. Again, you can totally do this on your own, but I think it's easier to do it if you have someone to work with. The second person you need is a real estate attorney, right? Because during this presentation, we're going to be talking about the process of purchasing a home. And for that, you need a team together, right? And we have us as the agent, right? An attorney, right? And again, partner with an attorney who's social and can invite the people in their network as well. Partner someone that you like working with, right? Because most of these people, if they're going to work with you, they're going to want to work with the people they also met at the seminar. So again, pick people that you like. And again, if you haven't closed a deal, introduce yourself to an attorney, right? Maybe find someone who's newer in the business as well, so you guys can build your business together, right? This is all about kind of cross-referencing. Again, I can tell you, many of the attorneys that we work with have co-hosted these with us in the past, and they're happy to do so. Again, you will want to bring in a mortgage advisor, and Doug is an amazing person to team up with on this. People have used other mortgage advisors as well, right? And again, if you're targeting a certain linguistic group, right? If you're targeting people who speak Spanish, And again, not to exclude everyone else, but if you're doing this in Spanish, if you're doing this in Russian, if you're doing this in Mandarin, totally fine. We can find a mortgage advisor at Weichert who speaks that language as well, right? Because maybe that's a way that some people want to kind of brand these first-time homebuyer events. So again, once you have everyone together, what do you need to do? You need to market, right? And there's, I think, 3 different ways of marketing, right? So the first one is postcards, right? So, and again, we're going to kind of go over a couple postcards that people have sent out already. You want to make these enticing and interesting, right? And what I say is you want to send these to expensive rental buildings in the target area, right? You want to find some expensive buildings. Once you make the postcard, you can send it directly through the design center to those buildings. You also want to do email marketing, right? You want to send out a mass email to the zip code where you're hosting it and invite people there too, right? And offer items of value for registering, right? Make sure you're giving them some tips or something for actually registering, right? We also are going to talk about giveaways in a second. Your sphere of influence, right? Invite everyone that you know, right? Every single person, even if they already own something, just invite them. Why?
It look like it's a wide amount of people who are coming.
Well, it's good to have a wide amount of people. That's a really good reason. But why would you send this out to everyone that you know?
So they can inform others.
So they can inform others, or
direct them to you.
And direct them to you. But that's part of it, right? So they remember that you're in real estate, right? Because we want to touch on people as many times as we can, right? Easy way, just saying, hey, I'm having a first-time home seminar. Feel free to come or invite anyone you want, period, right? It's a quick email, it's a quick text, it's whatever it is. Everyone you've ever run into at an open house, invite them. Who cares if they bought or not, right? Again, it reaffirms your name, it reaffirms that you're in the business, right? Any rental lead that you've ever received, right? If you've ever had a rental listing, you probably have, again, depending on how long you've been in the business, dozens, hundreds, if not thousands of potential people, right? Export all those StreetEasy leads and put them in and just invite them, right? Who knows if they live here, who knows if whatever, but these are people who might still be thinking about buying, right? They might have contacted you 3 years ago about a rental, and now they're actually starting to think about buying. And guess what? They might not have a broker, right? So you're hitting as many people as possible. And again, what I always say is offer some sort of giveaway for registration, right? People really love free things. It can be a gift card. Again, if you talk to the attorney and say, hey, would you give $250, $500 off your services if they use you, right? It costs them nothing. They're, I would imagine, going to do it. Okay, so here are some examples of postcards that actual Weichert agents here in our office, oops, what did I just do? Sorry about that. Okay, that actual Weichert agents have said, right? So tired of throwing money away on rent. Let's change that together. Sorry about this bar here for anyone who's here, right? And this is Dewey's card, right? Apartment prices are dropping, rents are skyrocketing, and interest rates are still historically low, right? This is the case. Now is the time to realize your dream of owning a home in New York, and I'm ready to help. I'm sponsoring a free virtual homebuyer seminar. And again, I recommend doing both. Again, this is when we were down in Soho still, do it in person and virtual, but he did this one just virtual. See the blue info, register, and let's make your dream reality. Plus you get dinner on us to do DoorDash to the event, right? So the mortgage advisor gave anyone who was in the room for the seminar a $15 DoorDash credit, right? This one was virtual, right? Again, if you're going to provide food, great. You can always say, you know, anyone who participates can win an X dollar gift card. Anyone who participates will get $200 off their closing services with an attorney, whatever it is, right? Again, there's a registration link here and the opportunity to contact him directly. This went to a Google sheet where they typed in their name, their address, their phone number, their email, right? So Dewey was able to collect 300 people's registration information from sending these out. And again, he co-hosted it with Jackie Frank, who's a mortgage advisor that he's used in the past, right? They did it. She's not with Weichert, no. She did it with Jackie because Jackie was able to pay for all this, and yes. So again, we would prefer if you use Doug, but it's your business. So here's another one, right? Kelly Chow, you're invited from renting to owning a home buying seminar, right? 242 Broome Street, 4th floor, October 4th. This one's coming up from 5 to 7, right? Scan QR card, register. Again, this goes to a registration page that you created, Google Sheet, Google, what do you call it? The survey one, Google, Forms, exactly, yeah. So people go in, they type in their information, Kelly captures it, right? So even if they don't attend, you're getting more information from them. Right? So here we go. Are you tired of paying your landlord's mortgage, right? Great way to put it, right? It's enticing. It's not just like, join me for a homebuyer seminar. Are you tired of paying your landlord's mortgage? That's a really, really important thing, right? What would I say? I would say, do you want to lock in your rent for the next 30 years? Right? We've talked about this in some of the meetings before. Great way to pitch it. Join us for a home buying seminar. Kelly, Randy Chang, the attorney she uses, and someone that she's worked with from Wells Fargo, right? QR code to register. And this is the postcard that went out, right? So again, at the event, have food or snacks available. Make it informative and entertaining, right? You put together a 20-minute presentation on the home buying seminar, right? It's basically chopping up, talking about the difference between condos and co-ops, talking about down payments in New York, talking about the process in New York, right? It's just like, it's basically a first time, it's a buyer consultation, but much simpler, right? Just overviews, right? Don't give pearls of wisdom, but don't give them everything away, right? Because you want them to want to work with you. And just by giving them information and then being there, you're already starting the process of like, hey, they're helping me, right? It's not just someone unlocking the door. It's not just someone responding to a request on StreetEasy, Zillow, whatever it is, right? What you can do is you can encourage there to sign up for one-on-one meetings with you, right? You can have another QR code to, to a Calendly or something like that, where they can sign up for first-time homebuyer seminars with you. Again, either in person, you can meet them in the office, or meet them somewhere in their neighborhood, or virtual. And again, offer giveaways, right? People love free things. Some people will come just for that, but who cares, right? Like if you get more people, you're getting more people. So gift cards, you can buy a Weichert shirt or something like that. And again, the attorney will most likely offer some sort of discount, right? $200 off, $250 off, $500 off, whatever it is, right? Because it doesn't really cost them anything. So it's a way to build your brand and your reputation. So how easy is that? Right? And really all in, what does this cost, right? So if you need to rent a place, this is going to cost you, let's say, $200 or $300, right? Team is free. The marketing, right? The email marketing is free. The serial influencers marketing is free. Let's say the giveaway is $250 if you're paying for that, and you're paying for $500 in gift cards, right? So you're paying about $1,000 for this event. So if you don't have that $1,000, pay $500, split it with someone, right? Do it together. You guys split all the leads. You work all those leads together. I promise you, if you do one of these and you start doing them consistently, you'll get at least 2 or 3 buyers a year from this, right? And if you look at the average commission check that you get paid out on a sale, you're probably making on average, $10,000 to $12,000 at least on a sale. So, you do one of these, you can pay for 12 of these by that one lead that you close off with. So again, what are we gonna do now? I want you guys, let's schedule dates for you guys. Let's put together a team and let's set a budget and start pulling stuff, right? And we're gonna go through how to pull the rental buildings from OLR so that you can make it easy. I'm gonna go over that now, and then we'll kind of backtrack onto here. Let me go into OLR. So all you need to do is do a very quick rental search. So just search listings, Manhattan, rentals. Right, so let's say we're gonna do the Upper East Side. So I like to start with open listings because they're most likely to not have a broker. Let's do 5,000 to 12,000. Let's do one. Who cares? It's a studio, great, right? And that's it, right? Oh, we're also gonna go show listings from this again. 360 days, and let's just see what's been rented. So we have 500, right? There's a ton of them, which is great, right? The Upper East Side is a great place to do this. So let's do, let's sort by landlord, right? Or let's sort by, I think landlord will give us, sorry, address. Let's do address. So we'll lump everyone together who's similar. So here we go. Algin Management, open listing landlord, 400 East 66th Street. Right? So all we're gonna do, we don't care about the apartment number, right? All we're gonna do is write down 400 East 66th Street, because this is a 2-bedroom for 6,000, right? 226 East 70th Street, right? Again, you can go through these and write them down, right? And start taking them. Again, some of these are gonna be the same building, right? A bunch of these are the same building. 400 West 71st Street, right? And what are we gonna do? We're
and again, what we can actually do is, let's just find expensive 1-bedrooms, right? That's maybe 1 to 2 bedrooms for that price point. That will narrow it down even more, right? We're gonna get buildings where it's super expensive, right? Okay, so 165 East 66th Street, 920 Park Avenue, right? $11,000 from Stonehenge, right? So people in this building are paying a ton of money for rent, and they could probably buy something for cheaper, right? So all we're doing here is we're gonna pull some buildings, right? And you know, you could pick 1 or 2 buildings, and it's probably gonna be enough, right? So you can do these very, very specifically. So from here, once you have the addresses, when you go into Cole, sorry, not Cole Realty, when you go into the design center and create the postcard, when you go to address it, you can actually pick the buildings that you want to send it to. And you just pick those buildings, right? And you pick 2 or 3 buildings, you're probably gonna have like 600 people, because these are usually, again, doorman, high-rise buildings and stuff like that. So it's very simple to figure out where to do it. Again, if we're doing this downtown, let's say Chelsea, and if you're gonna do it here. At 530 West 30th Street, you know, Hudson Yards buildings are really expensive. Here, 11,000 for a 1-bedroom. Someone who's paying 11,000 for 1-bedroom, potentially, not probably, but potentially has the ability to pay. You know, what a mortgage on $1 million right now is probably like $6,000 a month. So they can probably buy a 1-bedroom for about $9,000. So there's lots of opportunities out there. So, any questions? I'm going to stop the recording.